Hello and welcome to another episode of League Talk, episode number 4. Fuck you guys. God damn it. Today we'll be talking about tips and tricks on how to improve your game in League of Legends. Today I'm joined by five others. Wow, this is a full roster. This is insane. So we'll start with Mr. Anthony, like always. Introduce yourself.
What up? It's Leon here. Moose gets nervous really easily, and can't count.
I can't count today. I don't know what time it is either. Apparently, We're also joined by Mr. C2C.
Hello.
And then we're joined by Matt, Greg, and Cody.
Hi guys. And
and Tyler. How you doing, Spence?
What are you talking about? I'm actually I'm waiting for this to load up. Come on now. This is supposed to be funny. I had something good here. Where is he? I failed. Supposed to
We'll give you a
something
moment
pop up right here. Nothing's popping up.
Give you a moment.
Any fucking day now.
Any day. Nope. Yes. Maybe.
Fuck it. We'll come back to it.
We'll
Hi,
come back
I'm
to
finally
it.
here.
All right. Well, we'll continue with what's everybody been playing lately. We'll start with Anthony over there on the left.
This week's been pretty dry. Again, since last week I've been busy with school and tests have been popping up everywhere. But in my little time of gaming, I've been playing some League and then some Magic Online recently, so I can practice.
Very nice. We would be going to Jimmy, but shit! Perfect timing.
The pan.
Sup?
Jimmy, what you been playing this week?
This week. Pizza time.
Oh yeah, heck yeah, pizza. I've been playing some Pizza Time. I'm playing it right now. It's a pretty cool game. I'd show that too, but all I have are the Parmesan bread bites. But what's it called? This week I've been playing Dive Kick. That's been a lot of fun. What else have I been playing?
Dear God, Draven.
It's a Draven. I've been playing Dive Kick. I played a little bit of LoL this time around. I think aside from those two games, that's been it. Yeah, Dive Kick and LOL.
Interesting.
What?
Draven.
Is
That was
that
last episode. That was like episode 2. You're out.
you missed it, bro?
This is what I wanted to do.
Okay.
I'm not Spence. I'm Draven.
Draven.
Is this the the podcast of eating? Because 2 out of 3 of us are, or 5 of us.
No,
are
I'm
eating.
done. I'm done. I just wanted to show off one little,
Right. I'll try to be more subtle about my.
Apparently,
pizza
everybody's
eating.
eating now.
Mm-hmm.
And
If you see me
what about
duck,
you,
that's
Matt?
what I'm
What
doing.
you been up to?
I've been playing a lot of Magic this month. Basically, Standard's kind of wrapping up, and it's going to rotate again next month. So I've been playing a lot. There was the Arizona Magic Open across town yesterday, and I played in that. And I was winning in for top 8, and then I lost in Game 3 against Mono Red. So that was rough. League of Legends and video games is basically all I've been playing in the last week. Played Saints Row 4, picked that up. It's a lot of fun. But basically, Riot can just keep releasing awesome skins, and then they don't need to release champions for me. Like, I don't want to spend any more money or IP on champions. I just want them to release really cool skins, and then I'll just keep spending money on that.
I understand where you're coming from. There's so many champions. Like, I don't understand why they haven't made it 4 bans yet per team. I feel like they need to do that as well. Greg and Cody, look at them over there, busy workers.
Yeah.
Tell them to say hi.
Yeah. Greg and Cody, say hi.
Oh, see, there you go. All right. And what about you, Spence, aka Draven?
I haven't been playing as much as I'd like. Just a few miscellaneous Steam games here and there, some Binding of Isaac and whatnot. But I played a couple of games of League. I actually hadn't. Hector, your face. He had this just like
Draven.
Yeah, I've been playing a few games of League. Got to experience the cheapness that is the new character, so that's fun.
Yeah, Lucian's pretty good.
Yeah.
He's so weird to play.
Yeah, he's
I haven't
he
played him
definitely
yet.
seems like a high skill champ though. But I haven't played him too much myself yet to really pick up on that. Oh, I guess I can tell what I've been doing. Playing some dive
Alzheimer's.
kick, kicking Jimmy's ass over there, and some dive kick to be more exact.
Yeah, you have to resort to kicking a person who only got it yesterday, right? Yeah.
Oh, okay. Look
Yeah,
at
you
that.
know,
Exactly.
you always have to pick on like the new guys, and so you get your kicks, right?
Playing
Leave
some Magic.
Jimmy alone.
Apparently his ankles aren't there all the time.
That's been fun. So Magic the Gathering online with Mr. Leon. Matt and Spence over there are always assholes and never want to play anything with me. So
You never
I'm
asked.
going to be playing this week a lot, actually. I'm going to try to get past school starting tomorrow, so.
then another thing, I picked up Final Fantasy 14 yesterday. Been pretty excited with that. Kind of. I almost missed this podcast because of it.
You dick.
But besides that, yeah, it's been a pretty busy week at work and stuff. Seems like everybody's had a pretty busy week.
I mean, this is like prime time for like a lot of people, school
A lot
and
of people
stuff.
be starting that school.
Yeah. Or are in school right now, you know.
Fucking babies. I mean,
Hey.
what?
Hey,
Hey.
I'm only in high
Someone's gonna
school.
win. I don't know who, but someone.
I mean, you
Alright.
have more dirt on me than I do, so
I think you would have more dirt on yourself than I do, but
I mean, yeah.
alright.
Anyway.
So let us carry on with this. So the topic of this week is tips and tricks for starting and learning this game. And definitely want to talk about that. What do you guys think the most important thing about like when you first start this game is? Like, the one thing you always tell everybody.
Have fun.
That's a good one.
that's-
I forget that one myself all the time.
Well, to expand on that, like, just don't go try hard right out the gate and just be like, okay, well, I need to pick up this character because it was played on this LCS. Like, no, you're not at that level yet. You still have to make your baby steps. Like, first and foremost, you just have to have fun. That's like the big thing.
Yeah, I agree completely with that. Like, people who try too hard with, like, at level 5, 10, 1, whatever level you are, like, just play any champion that you like for what, just because you like them. Don't be trying to make team comms, you know. If you don't feel like playing jungle and the other 4 people pick someone who isn't jungle, don't jungle. Who cares? You know what I mean? You're at that point where you can play anything and win. Have fun with it. Do what you can.
I think one of the biggest things is that people need to stick to the game, because if like it is very rage-inducing when you don't like succeed in what you're doing.
I can definitely see that. And you're gonna fail a lot. That's probably the first thing I tell everybody. You're gonna fail a lot. Just don't quit, because it gets better. It really does. So.
With a real Draven, please stand up.
Draven.
Oh shit, there's a real face under there. I am not a mask, I am the real Draven.
God.
I've actually have not played a lot of Draven, so I can't really say that I support this guy very much. But
God.
Regardless, Draven.
What about you, Moose? What do you think is really important about first starting off in this game?
Well, like I said, just playing what you want is really, really important. I think not enough people do that. I feel like people just try to fill in, and if you have 480 carries, oh well.
Roll with it.
5
It
junglers,
works. It works.
everybody going in with smite.
Double jungle? Why not? You know, might as well.
It's so fun. You just
You know what I mean? When you start a game, nobody has flash, so like, what are you gonna do about it?
And then like you look on the opposite team and someone has flash, like,
Damn.
he's higher level.
You're just glaring at that guy. It's like,
Yeah. What about you, Matt? You've been pretty quiet over there.
I mean, to start off playing, it's like I would just basically go over the mistakes I made when I started playing League, and that was that like we played bot games a lot, and it just it just doesn't practice you for anything. Like having fun is really important, and the bot games were fun in a way, but then it was like after I hit 30, I've been 30 forever, like, and I started playing ranked like 3 months ago. So it's it's like playing when you play against other people. Like it might suck or whatever, but like force yourself to play like 3 games a day or like 1 game a day at least, or whatever, and just basically keep practicing, practice last hitting, and then like have fun. But when you want to get to the point where you're like, oh, I'm not really enjoying like how I'm not as good as I could be, then like look at what you're doing. Don't try to like put blame on everything else. Like try to understand that if it's a game you want to be good at, then it's about you being good at it. It's not about the game catering to whatever you're accustomed to, because that's not what League is. So me being accustomed to bot games made it really hard for me to want to play PvP at all, and it basically took them releasing Dominion for me to want to play against people at all. And then when that happened, I was like, well, Dominion's cool, but it's just like kind of rubber bandy, and I'm not a huge fan of it. And then it's like, oh, some of my other friends play Rift, and then I finally started playing Rift like against other people way after that. So I would say just start in PvP and try not to play bot games. Like, don't be afraid to do normals by yourself, and and then basically go in with what like the rest of you guys have been saying about just have fun. Like, play the champion you like. Doesn't matter if they already have they have a mid or whatever. Like, don't be an asshole. Like, you don't need to also go mid. That's the other thing. It's like you can go anywhere. Like, if you are playing a character who should be in mid, you can go bot. Like, you don't need to ruin this other person's day for you to have fun, but you should definitely be playing a champion you're comfortable on, or else it's going to be at like a 40-minute like living hell. Like that, you want to have fun while you're playing, and I think that just pick who you want to play and just try to play to the best of your abilities, and you will have fun.
Yeah, I feel like that's a really good advice there, because playing against bots, maybe for like the first like few games is okay, just so you can literally understand like it, but don't get accustomed to bots, because the moment you get accustomed to bots, you get accustomed to this feeling that you can do anything, and the bots aren't really smart enough to like react or punish you for it. So when you play against real players, you just get demolished. So I would say, like, maybe for your first few games you can understand the way the game works. Bots are fine, but past that you should definitely be playing against players every single time, because that's the best way to improve at the game while still potentially having fun.
And then I think the hugest tip is, with however many millions of people play League of Legends, like, somebody that plays League, like, find them and play with them, because playing with your friend, even if you're both losing, whatever, they can teach you how to play, or you can both just be terrible together. It's way more fun that way. Like, you 100% know somebody that plays League. Like, they might not be good, they might not be level 30, but you know somebody that does. Find them, message them on Facebook. They want to play with people. Like, just go out there and play with your friends. It's 5 people on a team for a reason. So I think that was the biggest part for me. I wouldn't be able to play that game at all without being able to play with my friends.
Definitely. Friends and people make League definitely what it is. Some of the community is quite toxic, so sometimes
God, yeah.
can understand not wanting to play with them.
I mean, it is League, so.
Yeah, that is true. So I just picked up the game today, League of Legends. First time ever playing it. What champion do I buy?
That's not easy to figure out. There's so many.
Yeah.
I know. There's like 112, I believe.
There's a lot of them.
Not to mention, there's also, you have to find what you're best suited for in a team. And you're not going to know that right off. You're not going to know what style best suits you.
Mm-hmm. The one thing I will say, though, is the one thing that we should mention is that there are tutorials out there for people that are barely picking up this style of game. And in those tutorials, you get to pick up, you get to learn how to play Ashe, or Garen, or Ryze. So right off the bat, you're exposed to 3 characters that are consistent across the entire player base. But you also have the free champions available. So, like, start from there. Play those guys. Don't commit yourself to buying a champion right away. Play the stuff that's out there right now.
That definitely makes a lot of sense. Yeah, they always give you. Does anybody have the exact amount of free champions they give each week?
I think it's 7, isn't it?
I think it is 7.
It's 10. And the thing about it is they don't just give any. They don't just give 10 like 80 carries or they're called dumb marks.
There's a lot of variety to these.
It's a variety. They try to give you at least 1 or 2 of characters within every role. This way you can kind of get familiar with them.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, there are definitely champions out there that are easier to play than others. Like, for example, an easy mid to pick up would be Annie. She's a pretty prototypical mage that has a lot of burst to her. If you can master
A
Annie,
lot of
you
burst.
you could, yeah. And you basically mastered like the basics of what a mid can do. Same thing with Ashe. She does this. Oh no, I don't know. AD carries are really weird because Ashe doesn't have an escape, but she can kite.
Yes. So Ash 80 carries, maybe Graves I would say is one of the easier ones to pick up, just because he's pretty tanky within his own. He has some tricky things within him, but overall it's pretty simple.
But his
Uh,
outside mechanics are pretty simple.
Yeah.
Mm.
In the jungle, you want maybe someone like Warwick.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they kind of pass him off as the quintessential jungle, and he's very cheap. If you want to get into jungling, he's probably one of the best guys to start buying. What is he, 500?
450, I believe.
450.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the
Yeah, it should be
cheapest now.
like junglers are like Warwick. Nunu's not bad just because he's pretty safe.
Nunu can be OP if you do him right in the jungle.
Well, after the changes to the jungle, he's not as strong anymore, but he's still pretty good.
I've seen you do a bit of jungling, Hector. Like, who do you prefer the most when you play jungle?
Oh man, right now my personal favorite junglers are Jarvan and Zac, probably.
Zac. I've seen you pull some crazy shit with him.
Wombo combos.
Talking about, yeah, I actually have a video up on YouTube, which probably will be in the description down below. It's a huge Zac initiation that me and Jimmy were in yesterday.
I watched that over and over, and it was so amazing.
It was brutal. It's a Wombo combo. That is all.
So good.
Yeah, so definitely, like, if you want a good bruiser for cheap, like, Renekton I think is 3150, so he's kind of expensive. Garen's
Garen.
cheap. Yeah,
I think
Garen's
Garen's like the easiest to
1350.
pick up as a top,
Yeah,
just because like he's
Garen's
so hard to deal with, and like he does so much damage for so little. What he needs to build, like, sure you can get wrecked by specific matchups, but that's like every single champ you ever play. But like, I feel like the top champs are kind of weird just because a lot of them require you to have kind of an ample amount of skill. So
Yeah, a lot of the top require this amount of mechanical skill and such.
mhm.
But yeah,
But
like
I mean-
mid, as we said before, Annie's a really good one. Who else?
There's not a lot of mids that are really easy to pick up. Like,
I started with Vigar when I started playing mid, and
Yeah, Vigar's not bad.
I wouldn't say he's the easiest to pick up. I wouldn't start with him personally. I agree when you said Annie would probably be a good person to start off with for going mid.
I started with Kennen when I first picked up mid.
Yeah, Kennen can work.
Another easy one that
Morgana.
yeah, Morgana's another one that's super
Oh yeah.
easy to play. Ryze is mechanically easy to play as well. You might need to research like his build, but he's pretty easy.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
overall. God, we're saying a lot.
yeah.
once
Thank you
again-
for pointing that out, Moose.
God.
So then you got support, and support is one of those roles you don't really want to be playing at the start because
I like it personally. I've always
it's not a
liked
bad role, and I definitely feel like if you like support, you should play it. But at the start, it can be frustrating playing support because the fact that you're relying so heavily on your team,
and they're
if
heavily
getting
relying on you in turn.
nothing. So at those early levels, it can definitely be brutal.
That being said, if you really want to go down that route, Soraka is pretty cheap, and she's pretty easy.
Quintessential support.
Or you always have Sona also, where you can pretty much hit anybody,
Yeah, Sona.
any button on the keyboard and be like a decent support.
Yeah, just like bing, bing, just start banging on your keyboard and you're supporting.
Face roll.
If you're barely beginning as support, I wouldn't worry too much about wards at this point. Just know that it is kind of expected of you as you progress.
Absolutely.
But
Quintessential.
if you're barely starting out, know that it is generally a good idea to ward in places where you think the enemy team would go through, and leave it at that.
Something to always keep in mind is wards are possibly the most important thing in the League of Legends.
They are the most important thing, But the thing I have with getting wards and barely beginning is wards assume that you're looking at the mini map a lot, and I don't know if newer players are going to be doing a lot of that too. So
That is
again,
also very true.
It
Yeah,
can be
yeah.
hard to pick up.
Advice for the future when you improve and such.
Mhm.
Wards, very important.
Save a
Also-
life. Buy wards.
By wards, yeah, yeah. I mean, wards kind of lead into another thing. Like, just keep track of like what's going on the mini map. Like, you don't need to know what's going on around like the entirety of the map, but it's always nice to know like, okay, is the middle enemy, is the opponent that was in mid lane still there? You know. That's a nice drink you got there, Moose.
Some
Jeez.
Kool-Aid. Yeah.
Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid.
Okay.
Another thing that you start getting into as you continue to play League is something that they have is their rune system.
Hmm.
So everybody starts with 2 rune pages, and I really dislike that. I feel like they need to make it at least 3, maybe even 4. Like it's so rude to give you 2 rune pages and expect you to be able to play ranked. Let's say when you hit 30, if you're not going to be buying more.
It's like pushing people to buy rune pages at this point.
To like like it's just really bad.
I've only completed 1 rune page.
Yeah, runes are definitely a really
It can
important
take
thing.
time.
Yeah, they take the most time I think to get your runes. And something I always tell newer players to do is buy champions at the start. You have the ability to buy in level 10 runes, level 20 runes, and level 30 runes. I don't suggest you buy any runes until you can get to level 30 runes, because you're really just wasting IP for temporary power. Because you can't really style back runes or anything like that. So
You can put them in the blender, but it doesn't really do much.
there's
It kind of
there's
screws you
like
on that deal.
someone made a, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a diagram about like your percentages of getting what rune when you put these runes in and how you can improve them, and it was insane. It did not seem worth my time to read it and waste all that, but it's crazy.
Cray.
I think something we should note. I saw this in the chat. You can get, if you want some free characters, it's pretty easy. If you follow the Riot Games Facebook and YouTube channel, or the League of Legends Facebook and Riot YouTube channel, you can get a free Alistair and Tristana complete with skins. So
Oh, that is very true. Very true.
if you don't want to pay money for skins and characters, get a couple frees.
Mm-hmm. And Tristana is a pretty easy AD carry to also play too.
That is
Getting
very
one
true. And
back
she has
on
an
topic.
escape. 2
Alistair,
escapes.
not so much right now. He's a little bit more
I tried
difficult
him
to
as my
use.
first support, and that was a terrible idea.
Yeah, because I mean, Alistair kind of combines 2 things, 2 ideas in one. It's a tank and a support, and trying to combine those 2 when you're barely beginning may not be the best of ideas.
Definitely, I can definitely understand that. You want to just get used to just that one role as quick as possible. And then once again, as you improve, you're gonna want to find. We keep saying the roles, and generally there's 5 roles in League. There's the top lane. There's which is usually a bruiser, tanky bruiser. Sometimes you have kind of like an assassin, but it's generally, like I said, a bruiser. Mid carries are AP carries, which is just someone who's gonna burst you down with ability power. Junglers are once again either bruisers, tanky bruisers, or assassins. And then your bot lane is support and marksmen, as they call them now, because they're no longer AD carries.
Marksman.
Okay, so like going on this tangent, where did that term come from? Is this from that one guy on YouTube? Because I have not heard that term.
What one guy?
Sky.
No, it's actually, if you open League of Legends right now, they're literally called marksmen.
Really?
Really?
Not. Why would they change? Oh, whatever.
That's called marksman now. They literally changed the term to marksman
It-
from, I think it was just called carry before. I'm not sure though.
Hmm.
Is it like something from Dota, or is it? Where did the idea come from anyway?
That's a good question. I know a lot of games like Dota has them as marksman, if I remember correctly, and I know Infinite Crisis just came out and they have their name as marksman. So maybe Riot may have felt like marksman filled the role name a little bit better. So it's the only thing I could really think of.
Hmm.
also by hearing marksman, it also, I think, prevents like newer players who are like, I'm gonna go AD carries in Zao, to kind of not want to do that anymore because we have bread. I think.
What is
I
that?
don't know.
Is that like a
As we
Bread?
say, it is important to know your role.
Oh. That's terrible.
Yes. So, yeah, marksman. I think it's just to kind of make it so newer players understand what the role actually is, and we actually have a lot of people who play different roles in this chat here. So, do each one of us want to maybe pick up one of those roles and talk about it to a little more detail or something?
I mean,
Sure, who starts?
Whoever wants. We can always start from the left, the right, or we can start from the center.
or yeah.
All right, so I'll start, I guess. After getting those very obvious hints. So I specialize in two roles, support and tank. As I mentioned before, they sometimes overlap. But so I'll start with kind of what a support does. As a support, your main job is, well, your primary job at the beginning is to carry your marksman out of the laning phase. So, yeah, marksman. So, like, there's a variety of ways you could do it. It depends on what type of support you're doing. If it's a Soraka, all you have to do is top them off with HP, make sure they're not getting killed, and just make sure that they're sustained throughout the entire laning phase. If you're playing like a Sona, you can also sustain them, but you also have the option to poke the other AD carry and support. That way you can push them out of the lane and make it easier for your marksman to actually farm up a bit. After the laning phase, the support is generally in charge of typically CCing like whichever enemy opponent redundancy.
CC is crowd control, which means stun, slow, snare, something
Yeah,
like that.
stun, slow, snare, and essentially you're trying to support the entire team as a whole, whatever that may mean. And wards. That's generally up to the support as well. It sounds easy, but again, when you start getting into stuff like ward placement, how you need to poke, when you use your abilities, that's when you get into the subtleties of being a support. But for now, just know that it's your job to kind of support the team.
Oh, then another thing, as you get higher up in the game, another big role by the support is usually keeping timers, which is on Dragon, you got to know when it spawns, Baron when it spawns, and that's kind of not something that you should worry about at all right now.
No,
But
yeah.
as you improve and get better, level 30 and such, that's something you might want to think about.
Yeah, timers and such, that's something that a support can do, that's something that a jungler can do. It
It's
tends
both
to
their
change.
roles.
Yeah.
But
Kind of like
Something I know
Interwoven,
about CC is that CC kind of falls into two different categories: soft CC and hard CC. And so the difference between that is like hard CC are like stuns, suppressions, and like stuff that your opponents can't do anything while under it. While soft CC is like slows
knockups.
and knockups, slows, roots, and snares, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about like keeping track of all of these as long as you can, as you know, like okay, I can stop that guy. That's all you really need to know when you're barely beginning. You don't need to know like
I'm just saying a note.
yeah, you don't really need to know the difference between a stun and a suppression at this early stage.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
Which talking about CC, that goes into tanks. What is the role of a tank? Well,
We'll figure that out when somebody else tells that one.
oh okay.
All right.
Wait, does anyone of us
Regardless.
play tank? I don't.
Not really, but
Yeah.
I'm sure we can figure it out. We can discuss it. Jimmy
Okay.
plays tank, so he can tune in on that, help out. Was there any role you wanted to talk about, Matt? Besides the support role that someone already took?
Other than support, I mean, I play both the roles in bot lane fairly regularly, so that was AD carry is interesting. I would say starting off, that's a really good place to be. Like you're talking about, like I installed the game today. What should I do? I think that out of the free champions this week, being Ezreal, Gragas, Janna, Nasus, Rumble, Sivir, Skarner, Sona, Victor, and Zyra, I think Nasus is your best pick because he's just like huge tank, He's got his passive ability increases his lifesteal, so he can stay in lane longer. Basically, with Nasus, early on, you can make mistakes. You can go too far. You can not see the guy that walked over your ward and is ganking you, and then you just hit R and walk away. Like, just activate your ultimate, get a ton of health, get a ton of CC, you're resisting CC, and then you just walk back to your turret, and you're like, okay, next time I need to watch out for that guy. But then you have the added bonus of not dying, not pissing off the rest of your teammates, and just being like, all right, I'm going to go back to base, I'm going to buy some stuff, and then I'm going to be watching my ward from now on. So I think characters like that are tanky and kind of resistant to being immediately killed help out. And so in that way, you could talk about tanking for an early on, a person who's like new to the game. I think that playing a tanky character is really important. So somebody like Nasus or Malphite, both pretty cheap IP-wise. Nasus and Malphite are usually, if one isn't free, usually the other is. They're very commonly on the free roster, and basically they just can take punishment. Their abilities are all really standard. Like, you just read it and you immediately know. You're like, oh, this ability does damage. This ability is a circle that does damage. This ability is a thing that slows the guy down so I can hit him more times. Like, it just feels very natural. And you don't have to worry about, like, oh, well, it does like a line inside of a circle and I have to angle it right or whatever. So it's kind of just, I'm going to hit stuff and then it's going to hit me back and then I'm probably not going to die first. And that's basically what I think. If you're starting off as a tank, that's what you should know what the role is. But to play like a tank at like a really high level, you have to know like different things like peeling off for your carries. So like people are immediately going to go after your guys that are trying to do the damage in the back, and you need to be trying to be there to soak up that damage, keep that guy from killing your carry so that you can win the team fights. You need to be worrying about initiation. So when their carry is out of position, you need to use your Malphite ultimate and jump in there, knock them up so that the rest of your team can kill them, and then you can win the team fight. So basically, a tank early on in the game is kind of just, you're just laning, nothing really that special. But then late game, a lot of what happens in your team fights is going to be hinging on you being in the right place at the right time and using the right ability when it's relevant. So catching somebody out, keeping your guy from being caught out, all these things can basically, like, using the right ability on the right target can basically mean the difference between a loss and a win. And I don't think that many other people have that much responsibility on their shoulders in a team fight. So I think tanking is definitely something that it feels really natural. If you've played any other sort of MMO or anything else, you know about this role, and you can basically go in knowing what you're supposed to be doing, and it makes you feel like you're doing a big part of the team, and then you're also not like 0-12, so your team can't like complain at you when the game's over. So like, you're probably not going to die, and you're going to be able to feel like I'm really doing things, even though you're not necessarily doing damage or something like that. So I think that it's a good role to start with.
They can also be meat shields too, which is nice.
Yes.
Yeah, like, I mean, if we get to the really big point about what a tank is, they really are just a meat shield. They're there to absorb damage, and like what you were saying, Matt, it's all about peeling, which is making sure that your AD carry or other squishy characters don't get caught in the crossfire.
And as Matt said before, the tank has, in my opinion, like one of the most important roles in the game, because you have the ability to initiate, and if anybody play any MMO, you know that's when you start the fight. You're the one who decides when everybody goes in, essentially. And if you go in on the wrong time, that can mean your whole team dying. If you go in at the right time, though, that's money. That's money. If you see my Zac video, you'll see me going in at the right time, and it's money.
Shameless plug.
Plugging.
All the plugs, but no, seriously, like to me, I personally prefer playing top for that reason alone, because I like playing generally the tanky bruiser who initiates, and I like having that responsibility where I know that when I jump in, I know that like I'm making it happen essentially, or I just failed my team.
Or you just die before everyone else in your team's prepared. You're just like, such a feel bad.
Yeah, and that's why I usually play top or jungle, because that's usually where that role usually kind of fits, is the tanky. Top and junglers usually are pretty interchangeable, like the characters, to an extent, of course. And actually, not so much anymore. That's a lie. Not so
Not
much
as much
anymore.
as it used to be.
Yeah, not. I wasn't really. But usually, like the junglers are very like supporty, kind of like with
They're
a lot
utility
of
tanks
stuns,
mostly.
Yeah. But what about you, Spence? What do you think? think about
Well,
one of
I
these
mean,
many
I
roles.
primarily do support, and that's already been kind of talked about. So,
So,
but when
you
I can't
talk
do
about your
that,
version,
when
like how
there's
you
really
like
more,
to play support then.
it's not that different. It's pretty cut and dry. But when I do play support, like as we've talked about, wards are essential. I mean, yeah, early on you don't have to stress terribly about it, but if you get into the big leagues, no pun intended, um, God damn it, they're gonna expect you to cover a lot of ground with your wards. And I mean, early on you mostly worry about keeping watch on things around your general area where somebody may try to ambush you, come out when you're not expecting it, because League can often be a game where you're trying to outthink the other team, which more time than not that's what it is. Um, but another thing we talked about covering, you need, if you don't know when things are going to come back up, the important things like the jungle, the Baron, the Dragon, then put wards down there in case the other team goes to try it out, like to go and take it. Because if you cover the ground where the other team tries to go, there's a good chance you can come in there and put a stop to them, especially in terms of Dragon and Baron, because those are very sought after. Dragon gets you a lot of extra gold, Baron obviously makes you uber, so always keep a watch on where your enemy's going to be next. Now, in my case of Soraka, I often play what I like to call a sacrificial role, because if it comes to it, and one of either you or your ADC is going to die, more times than not, it should be you. That's how a lot of people feel, because if your ADC is not shut down, he still has an opportunity to come back from it, and if you get shut down, it's not the biggest thing in the world. But like that reminds me of an Alistair video where this gangplank was going to get taken out, and Jimmy, and this Alistair rushes in and takes the shot from Caitlyn's ult and dies. But they play like this sappy ass music. Now it can be hilarious, but as a support,
Exactly.
sometimes you gotta play the role of the meat shield when you're the support. And yeah, that's God, jeez.
It's the best feeling ever.
I don't
Did I derail the podcast? I think I just did.
know. No, the train's still in motion.
League Talk episode 4. Jimmy makes him faces.
Makes them faces.
I mean, noms.
God.
Yeah, I
Give me
really
a
should
bowl
have
of
just
cereal.
had this face up while I was eating all this time.
And then you're just staring over there. I don't know. As a
Alright.
support, just do
Don't
whatever
face
you
check
can.
Baron. Don't face check bushes when Garen's in the game. Very important.
No, because Garen's an asshole.
I've done that too many times as when I play support, and it's no fun, no fun whatsoever. Like, oh, Garen.
I definitely agree. Soraka is a good place to start as support. Like I have the best games when I do support with her, and she helps especially out sustaining. As we mentioned, you can recover your health and your ADC's health, and you can restore their mana at the cost of none of your own. And as a secondary thing, if you hit an enemy with your mana filling ability, it silences them and makes it harder for them to engage you. So
Very true.
Soraka's very, very good in the standoff if it's in your own lane. And if you're in a team fight, just try to keep your dying allies in the game. And a lot of assists, that makes you look pretty good, especially with her ult, because you can use it any time on anybody, and then bam, instant assist.
And her ult essentially heals everybody for
That's
like
exactly
a
what it
decent
does. It
amount
gives
of
a little
health.
bit of health to everybody on your team.
The free assist button.
Basically,
Free assist button. That's what clairvoyance was, man. But
Wait, that gave you assist? Oh my god.
I believe it did. I'd actually have to double check.
probably
Oh,
did.
I know I've seen people use like Twisted Fate ult just to get an assist.
That's understandable then.
Yeah, but PF. What about mid? You want to talk about mid a little bit?
I just a small little thing on support. Someone that actually is pretty good to pick up is Tar, because he does what Soraka does, and he can sustain his lane, and he has a pretty easy stun, or
Yeah.
the easiest stun in my opinion.
Truly outrageous.
Manly
Yeah.
man.
If anything, just pick him up because he is the most outrageous champion in the league right now.
He's
He
so
is
manly.
Truly,
Especially that paint
truly
skin.
outrageous.
The one thing I will say though is I kind of disagree with actually Tarek being a good support pick when you're barely starting off, because Tarek has kind of changed like since he was introduced. Now he does have that stun, but he has to get relatively close to use that stun.
Hmm.
And his sustain, while he does have that sustain, he doesn't have. It takes a lot of mana that he desperately needs for that stun too. So, and
True.
his other two abilities are burst, so you have to get in close. So you have to juggle your priorities with Tarek a bit. I'm not saying that he's as complex and hard to learn as Alistair, but maybe try Soraka or Sona before you jump onto Tarek.
Yeah.
Definitely, I can agree with that.
But either way, going back to the mid, I feel like mid is more of a war of attrition, kind of like top, but you're more susceptible to like ganks because you are the way you're positioned in the lane allows the enemy jungler to basically just screw you if you're not paying attention. From what I've learned over the years of playing this game is that you want to be picking up most mid champs. You have to like pick one champ, get good with it, kind of like Annie, and like you have to keep your priorities straight with who you want to put your CC on and like how you want to approach a team fight, because you can't really go into the fight like any other tank. You have to be aware of who's on you and if you can like kill the AD carry or something like that. Marksman, sorry. Marksman. And like Moose was saying that mid's primarily a mid, or not mid, primarily AP.
Yes.
Um,
I
but
did
there are
want
a
to
few
bring something.
exceptions.
We have a guy in chat wondering, what is the difference between like between champions such as like Zac and Zed, and once again, every champion has their own ability. Just every single champion will have their own ability. So like Zac has Q where he punches a distance away and it's a slow. His W, which just is a small AOE around him that deals damage. His E allows him to slingshot shot himself forward, and his ultimate he bounces up and down and knocks people with him. Where Zed is kind of like throws a ninja star, can make a shadow of himself, which mimics all his abilities, and he can dash to or switch positions with, I guess. His E is an AOE slow, and his ultimate is basically kind of like a nuke on someone, and it also dashes to them. So every single champion will have their own different abilities and passives. Everybody has their own different things. No two champions in this game are really similar, or aren't really too similar, I should say.
Yeah, there's some similarities between mechanics between them, but they all have their own flavor to their own characters. So,
But sorry about that. Carry on.
well, I mean, I pretty much got to the like peak of what I was saying, but there are some exceptions to mid carries. Like one of the top played mid 80 mids are like Zed and Kha'Zix, and they're more of just like kill the guy first and then you survive kind of thing, and that's pretty major. Like damage is all you really want in the mid, unless you're going against some bruiser. But yeah.
And definitely the AD carries are they were kind of brought to mid to counter some of the other AP carries. So it's definitely they are their own thing.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Though, like, again, with everything that we're saying here, there will be exceptions. Like, for example, Galio can show up in mid, but you really don't need to know that at the beginning. So
No.
that's
Mhm.
one of those picks.
You
So I
barely
think-
see
I think that's-
Galio as it is.
I think that's definitely like a lot of good things to think about as a new player. Just keep in mind, figure out what kind of champions you enjoy playing, then move into a role from there. Whatever role you decide on, you really shouldn't worry about till later on Don't focus too much on that. Let's see what else. Runes, as we said, don't worry about that. Alright, so I think I want to talk about one last thing before we pretty much wrap this up. So I've already been playing. I'm level 30 now. I've gotten to a point where I'm just getting frustrated because I feel like I could be better. What do I do to improve?
You're not really that like that's something that you don't even have to be new to like go through that. Like I mean, this is
Yeah.
something
Yeah,
that
okay. But this is just kind of like a someone. I'm not saying I'm new anymore. I'm saying I've hit 30. I've been
like okay, you
playing.
barely hit 30.
I've been 30 for a while, let's say.
Okay.
So I kind of understand the game already. I know how it works, but I don't feel like I'm winning much. I don't feel like I'm good. I want to go into ranked, but I'm stuck in bronze 2. What can I do to improve?
Okay, so again, that could be a variety of reasons. Do you have a completed room page? Yes or no? Do you at least have the quintessences? Do you know? Are you playing champions that?
I'm just talking about mechanically. Mechanically.
Okay,
improving.
mechanically.
Yes.
So that'll depend on the role you're playing too. But most of the time, unless you're support, you always want to work on your last hitting. That's one universal thing.
Awkward silence.
Anybody else have anything else they want to add?
It's a pretty hard topic to discuss for me at least.
Well, one thing I wanted to really mention is, let's say you've been playing. If you're a laner, one thing to always remember is ward.
Save
That's
a
really
life.
important. Save a life, ward. And another thing is, it's not your jungler's role to win your lane. It's your job to win your lane. It's the jungler's role to take objectives, help push if needed, hold the lanes, ward their enemy jungle. Like, the jungler's job is not to win your lane. If you get ganked, it's not because the jungler didn't help you. It's because you weren't aware enough to survive, or because you didn't ward yourself.
Mhm.
That's something to always keep in mind. I think that's something that not enough people understand.
Did anyone else think that like Spence was gonna bring up his role picture again when Hector kept saying role over and over again? Like I was just expecting it's like
I don't want to beat a dead horse with this shit, you know.
Rolls. Damn
yeah.
rolls.
I would say,
um,
like, really importantly,
What
like,
is a
look up a
roll
video.
Anyway.
Like, look up a video of the champion, like somebody real playing the champion you want to play. So, like, if you're like, man, I'm having a problem with Malphite. Like, I've been playing him really, like, a lot, and I played him to hit level 30, basically, but it's like, I can't get out of bronze with Malphite. It's like, watch an LCS game where somebody's playing Malphite. Look up a YouTube channel where somebody's playing Malphite. Watch real games. Like, understand the full scope of your abilities. Like, you can use your ult to get away from a bad gank. Like, it sucks having to do that, and you're making a huge sacrifice, and you probably messed up to get there. But the point is you can learn how to get yourself out of these bad situations. You can learn all, like, the full scope of every one of your abilities that you don't even realize yet by watching a video. You might not, like, it can even help you in any role at all because you're just looking and you're like, I didn't know I could ward over this wall from here, but then I was watching this LCS game last week, and somebody was standing in this bush, and then they dropped a ward in this bush from there, and then immediately you know that forever. That's the thing about League, is like when you learn something, unless they completely change it, like unless they completely change either the champion or the mechanic you're learning, you'll know it forever, and you'll always have that. And that accumulation of knowledge is what gets you out of bronze and into silver and into gold. So, and further, whatever. Like, that's why the
Make
people
that
who are good
roll
at
a
League
goal
right
for
now
one.
is, yeah, they've been playing for so long, they know all the things about the game. That's what it is. Like, you might even be able to last hit almost as good as them, some diamond players or whatever. But it's like, it's the knowledge that they have that's getting them to where they are now. So it's always try to learn. Come away from every ranked game thinking, what did I learn in that ranked game? Come away from every League video you watch, unless it's, funny or whatever, like, what did I learn from that video? What did I learn from these LCS games I watched today? And how can I use that and how can I get that into getting promoted out of this division? Like, that's what it should be about for you, is trying to learn constantly to try to get further in ranked.
Yeah, most definitely. I remember I hit that wall like 8 months ago or something quite a while back, and I was just like, I had no idea what I was gonna do to improve. I was just feeling like I was gonna be terrible for the rest of my life, and people still didn't like. I know I played with people, and people didn't think I was terrible back then, but I myself was not like happy with my performance. And I think I sat down one day and for about a month straight played League very minimal and watched League of Legends streams. Like I would watch Dyer's stream, I would watch Scara stream, I would watch Crumb stream. I'd watch all like a lot of the pro players' streams. And every time they do something, they'd be like, "What?" Like you just learn stuff that you never even thought were possible, but are just little simple tricks you can do to improve your game to another level. Also, Ward. Ward's really important.
I think the best thing to teach even a new or even a player who's done a lot in their time, got to level 30 and trying rank, do not get discouraged. And it's hard to say and do these things because, like Hector mentioned earlier, the community in League of Legends can be a very toxic one. They can be very, very offensive people who, if you don't do perfectly in their eyes, they're just going to completely give you shit. And you can't let that get to you because, honestly, yeah, bitch please, don't worry about it. Because you're only going to get better, and don't listen to the people who aren't going to give you constructive criticism. If they're just going to say, you suck, well, what does that do, you know? Don't even listen. I mean, I'm easily the least the least experienced here, but you know, everybody can get better. Like, I never thought I'd make it to level 30, and that was ages ago. And if you're stuck in bronze, like Hector said, and like everybody said, just try to learn. It's a learning curve. Try to learn the best strategies you can. Keep at it. Don't give up. You'll find yourself getting better.
Mm-hmm.
And just keep having fun with it. Otherwise, you're not going to want to play it anymore. Also, make sure to... Somebody lighting a fire back there? Jesus Christ, what is that?
It's like a 3-bulb lamp, and yeah, it's.
I just
very
saw
bright.
like the light. Just like, ooh.
Yeah.
Bonfire!
But as
it,
I think it was pretty much like stated, anytime you play a game, anytime you watch anything, like if you get destroyed in lane, if you get destroyed in team fights, no matter like if you get destroyed in general, learn something from it. There's always something to be learned from this game, no matter how badly you did. No matter, don't. I need to take this advice sometimes myself because it happens to me. Don't get frustrated and don't get beyond upset to the point where you can no longer learn why you're getting beat in lane. Don't let that happen to you because the moment you do that, the match you're playing in is like, why even play it? You're just wasting your time. Even if you lose a match, as long as you learn something from it, it's not a waste of time, and that's something to always keep in mind.
Going into like one thing that was brought up for a little bit is like don't let people get to you. Like on those same terms, don't get to other people. Don't troll other people. One of the things that loses games really quickly is when you go off on your jungler for not ganking, on your mid for getting back on CS, for top for picking Heimerdinger or something. No. Like, you don't even have to be like, okay, guys, we can totally do it. You don't have to give the motivational speech that spurs the team to like all of a sudden come back from like a 20-0 deficit. Like,
they
no,
may
all
take
you
our turrets, but they will not take our nexus.
No, yeah, all you have to do is just, you know, like at the bare minimum, just be like, you know what, good job, good gank right there, and just be civil about it. And that is probably one of the most important things you can do for the team. To just like, you know, make morale just be, you know, not just go down.
That's always, morale is really important. The moment arguing breaks out and stuff is the moment you've, I wouldn't say lost the game, but you're definitely not helping.
It is a
the game.
team effort.
Hence this game.
Exactly.
It is quite team oriented. Awkward silence.
Awkward silence. All right. So I definitely feel like this is a good place to start wrapping it up. We all had a great talk. We had Greg and Cody be a great help to our stream today. Thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah. Woo!
Yay!
They don't know what the hell's going on.
I remember one point when we were talking, I just like I looked at Matt's screen and they just like looking at the screen, I was like, what? What? And then they went back to the stuff. I was like, okay. It looks so confused.
But so we'll just allow everybody to throw in their shameless plugs that aren't so shameless because this is the plug section.
Plugins.
We'll start once again from the left side. We'll start with Mr. Anthony.
You
Leon
can
Phan.
Leon. Shut up! I hate you so much.
Phan.
You can find me at twitch.tv/Leon760. I'll probably end up streaming some Magic drafts later this week or maybe today. You never know. You can watch me punt it really, really hard on all my matches.
He's pretty good. Don't listen to him. He doesn't have the confidence.
Dude, the hub, the interface of Magic Online is so stupid.
I agree. They really need to fix. Also, on a quick note, I predicted that EU LCS correct.
Really?
Just saying. Yeah. Fnatic
Wait.
came in first.
You did
Lemon
not.
Dogs.
You put
Oh no, I
Gambit
said
in
Lemon
third.
Dogs first.
Yeah, you said
Fail.
Lemon Dogs would be
The top three
first.
that were gonna qualify is what I meant. But
Oh, okay.
Lemon Dogs came in second, Fnatic first, and Gambit third.
Damn.
Also,
I was kind
also-
of surprised by Gambit. I'm not gonna lie. I thought EG had that.
Yo, it was also Dark Passage with the tiger face. They did not perform.
Oh my god. I wanted that team. They were like, oh, this is the Turkish team. I was like, oh my god. I want Dark Passage to just win it all. Like, I want them to win this invitational. And then, yeah, they just got, like, dumpstered by, like, every team they played. It was pretty bad.
Lion Gaming was a little bit worse than them.
That's
No,
true.
Lion
That's
Gaming
Dark
was the
Passage
worst. I
beat
called
the
that.
team that beat every other team.
I called that. That's the one thing I did call. I was like, no, I saw the Latin American server finals, and the performance there was not good at all.
So
Yeah.
I apologize for having to cut you guys off really fast, but just a quick brief. The teams that are currently going to Worlds is Team Maniski from somewhere.
Isn't it from like the
The
Philippines?
Philippines. They're from
Yeah,
the
Philippines.
Philippines.
Yeah.
Gaming Gear EU from Lithuania, I think was what I said, right?
Lithuania?
Yeah, they're United, or the Common States or whatever. They're an EU
Yeah.
team, but yeah, they're Lithuanian.
Then EU, you got Fnatic, Lemon Dogs, and Gambit so far. So
Okay.
it's definitely looking like a pretty hype finals, and I'm so mad I can't go.
What's your NALCS? What's your NALCS predictions for next week?
Oh, NA?
We're gonna open this can of worms again.
Yes.
Sorry, I already had this one discussed.
I'm so
but,
neutral.
Oh, did you?
yeah, we had a podcast all about this.
Okay. My bet is I want it to be Cloud9, Vulcan, and then TSM. But if Cloud9
that's-
and Vulcan don't go, NA is not winning Worlds in the slightest. In the slightest. Like, we have zero chance if both those teams get knocked out in playoffs. So it's
It'll be like All Stars all over again.
yeah.
See, I predict Cloud9 coming in second place.
Do you?
I do.
To who? To Vulcan?
To either Vulcan or TSM. I think either team's gonna beat them.
Nice.
Fucking TSM is such a wreck. No.
Yeah.
I have no faith in TSM.
I
wouldn't
feel like
count
with
them
what's
out.
going on, it's gonna be tough. But I'm gonna stick to my prediction because that was still my prediction when I said it. I'm not gonna change it. So
I'm so
now that we're
neutral,
done with this
guys.
shenanigan passage that we've discussed, like enough, let us carry on with our shameless plugs. Jimmy, where can we find you?
You can find me at twitch.tv/c2c_Shiro. I haven't been streaming at all lately, but when I do stream, it'll typically be some scrolls. I've been debating whether I want to stream LOL again, but that's where you'll find me.
Kick and dive.
Maybe
And
dive kick. Good.
Sorry,
Dive kick.
sorry, dive kick. Whatever.
Kick and
Oh,
dive,
you
kick and
kick-
dive, dive
kick
kick,
and dive.
kick and dive.
What about Matt? Matt, do you do anything? Or are you still lame?
I don't do anything. No, I'm too bad at any game to want to make other
You
people
can
watch
find
it.
him right here.
That'd be painful,
I-
yeah.
I-
Yeah.
I
I'm-
think Matt should still stream something because his personality would bring in everybody.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I got my Twitter handle at the bottom for the Thorns. I usually tweet about Magic more than League, but that's basically it right now. Hopefully, starting in October, A to Z Games is a card shop I own here. We will have our website up in October, so that would be awesome if I could finally get that up on here. But yeah, nothing else special besides the Twitter handle right now.
No worries, yeah. Spence, let me hear your long line of things.
No, I'm not going to give a long line this time. I actually don't really do a lot of streaming, so I kind of don't fit in there very well, but I make YouTube videos on my channel, youtube.com/Fuse4Spence. Follow me on Twitter at Fuse4Spence, and if you want, you can like my Facebook page, facebook.com/Fuse4Spence. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Dang, I was really thinking it was facebook.com/Draven.
Draven
Dream.
Spence.
God, I was
Fuse
not
Forge Raven.
the third Fuse Force Spence.
Fuse for Draven.
I did want to bring something up before I give my plugs. I will be streaming on the Dominate Dominion page on September 26th for these people. They're a channel that only pretty much streams Dominion, and they're the last people keeping this alive. So no sad face. Dominion is still a great game.
These aren't sad faces.
These aren't
they're
sad faces, Moose.
Oh, they're
It's a Dominion, like I like
I tracked them. I track them.
Me gusta.
Look, but I will be streaming on that channel. I recommend you guys all
Come
check it
on.
out before then.
Yeah,
They stream
do it.
quite regularly.
Come on.
The people who do stream on there currently are pretty awesome. So
Gusta
they have a
with us.
weekly Dominate Dominion. They have a weekly Dominion tournament every Saturday with like a $50 prize, and it's absolutely free to enter. So make sure you guys check that out. All the links will be down below. Besides that, everybody can go suck one. You can find me at twitch.tv/moose94, youtube.com/hero94. My Twitter's at hero94. Fuck off. If you guys are watching this right now, make sure you like, follow, and punch these people in the face.
Me gusta,
Wow,
what
great
can
day.
I say?
Later.
Bye.
Bye.
Don't forget
Bye.
to follow.
Don't follow.